My ex-husband and I have an 18-year-old son together. We divorced 8 years ago after I caught him cheating, which was also the last time I saw him. I left and he didn't see that I was there, and I had my brothers serve him the papers and clear out my stuff. My lawyer handled everything during the court stuff. Unfortunately, in my state, they don't consider infidelity for custody, so we split 50-50. Since then, I've used a co-parenting app for any needed communication. It records all our conversations via text so they can be saved. I've never had so much as a look at my ex since. We agreed to just drop our son off outside our houses and stay inside during this. I haven't tried to stop my son from having a relationship with his father. I prefer not to hear about it from him, though I don't outright ban the subject or anything like that. Anyway, my son's graduation is coming up, and of course he wants us both there. The issue is that the school seats parents together by default. I'm willing to go with that if need be, but I'd prefer not to have to do that. So I asked my son if he would mind asking if the school could have us separated. He got upset, claiming I hated his father more than I loved him. I told him that's not true, I was just asking, but he unloaded on me. He said I've always made him feel like crap for not hating his dad, and he's sick of feeling guilty. He pointed out that one of his friends has divorced parents, and they get along great. Not the same situation. He ended up uninviting me and gave my spot to my mother instead. Now I feel awful and wonder if I should have let it go. You're in a tough position, but this is your issue, not your son's. You are the idiot because you tried to make him deal with your issue. You should have contacted the school yourself to see what they could arrange. They have a mechanism in place for this sort of thing. Yeah, pick up the phone and call the school. For the last 8 years, he was a child involved in your problems. My husband's parents divorced when he was in his 20s. His father asked my husband for money, and it turns out it was for a divorce. So my husband is still upset that he unwittingly paid for his father to leave his mother. They still drag their kids through it, and I find it just as unacceptable. Not only because it still hurts their adult children, but now it's hurting their grandchildren. Absolutely unacceptable to involve children of any age in parental fights and divorce. You are the idiot for everything you and your husband have put your son through. I can only imagine how hurt he must have felt his whole life. You all think you did a great job, but you absolutely hate his father more than you love him if you need an app just to speak to him and can't even say hello. I agree that you shouldn't have cheated, but that doesn't give you a right to hold a grudge for 8 years. Did you refuse to go to ball games if the father was there? Did you ever have a birthday party together? This opens up so many holes, and I remember when my bio mom did that to my sister and she hated it. There's no reason why you all can't be cordial in person, and you're why you all are not. Not the idiot. You just asked him if he can ask. What? Since when is asking a question a big deal? OP, you should email the school yourself, but I guess your son will also not want you doing that. To everyone, if her ex was abusive, I'm sure these answers would be different. Her boundaries can be what they are without abuse. She has every right to be involved and present in her son's graduation and not be seated next to a cheater she hasn't seen in 8 years. OP did nothing wrong by asking her son to ask the school. Agree, he needs to understand it was dear father that messed up his life and not you. Ex broke his marriage vows to you, broke your trust, broke your heart, broke your family. That's some seriously high-level betrayal. Your son is an 18-year-old adult and an immature mini-idiot for expecting you to act like cheating wasn't a devastating betrayal. If it's more comfortable for him to pretend his dad didn't totally stab his mother in the back, that's fine. But for him to expect you to act like it didn't happen shows his lack of empathy. I, 24 male, have a sister, S, 28, who recently got married to a guy named Gary, 33. And Gary has a daughter, Diana, kindergartner, who our family treats like my sister's daughter. Some context. My sister always supported my coming out, and Gary is less supportive, I think. For example, my boyfriend wasn't invited to their wedding, and the excuse was that his mother is very religious. Before me, my sister and my boyfriend used to have dinner together. After the marriage, my sister never invited us together to her place. It's always in a restaurant, and Gary doesn't go. My sister asked me if I would take care of Diana this week so she and her husband Gary could take a weekend off to celebrate 3 years together. I changed some plans and told them that I would do it. Diana is a nice little girl, she's very talkative and she's really sensitive. On Saturday we went to the mall with my boyfriend. At the mall there was a workshop on arts and crafts at the playground, and I left Diana there for 2 hours so that I could have some time with my boyfriend. I asked my sister beforehand if that was okay, and she said that Diana loves the workshops. When saying goodbye, my boyfriend gave me a little goodbye kiss. Nothing much, just a little kiss. I wasn't even sure if Diana saw it. Sunday morning, I was watching TV with her, and she asked me if my boyfriend was my friend. I said yes, but she asked why he kissed me, and I had a little bit of gay panic. I carefully explained to her that he was the same as my sister was to her father. She told me, "But you're boys," and I said, "There are boys who like boys and there are girls who like girls, and that's okay." She didn't say anything after that. On Monday, I got an angry text from Gary saying that Diana was confused because of me. I called him and he was just shouting that I had no right to introduce my way of life to his daughter. I was shocked and I called my sister, who said that I shouldn't have told Diana what gay people are. Tuesday afternoon, I got an email from Gary saying that he was taking Diana to a psychologist to see what damage I caused to his daughter and that I was supposed to pay for the session. He was even talking about a lawsuit against me. I was very shocked and I called my dad, who's a lawyer, to ask him what I should do. My parents were very upset with the situation and they decided to come to our city. Me and my sister, live in the capital, and my parents live in a small city 3 hours from here. The situation escalated a bit because Gary told my dad that he wouldn't make the same mistakes that he did with me, and my dad was furious about it. He said that Gary isn't welcome in our family anymore and he doesn't want to ever see him again. My sister, who I thought was at my side, just flipped at me saying that my mistake would destroy her marriage. My parents are on my side and my friends too, but my sister is very angry at me, and even her best friend texted me saying I was stupid and childish to bring my father to the matter. So, am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. I always question when people try to hide reality from their children. Gary is clearly phobic and is projecting that onto his family. Your sister, also the idiot, is sacrificing you to protect the stability of what she accepts as a solid relationship. Her friend can stay out of it. You've clearly identified that this is a family concern, so I don't blame you for bringing in your parents. However, understanding your sister's mindset is critical in ensuring that this does not escalate further. What irritates me most is that Gary's relationship with your sister is accepted and fine, but yours is confusing and cause for psychological visits. He'll probably pick one up supporting his point of view, which will make matters worse. I worry that if Gary doesn't accept the reality that gays exist, you will lose your relationship with your sister. That she accepted this and married him is appalling. I'm sure there were more than enough warning signs. Your sister's husband is an idiot. Your sister knows it and will happily use you as a babysitter, but not stand up for you. The delusion and arrogance are astounding. Your sister made an unfortunate choice and only she can fix this. It's not you, it's her. I, 39 male, am a widower and single dad to 2 kids, tween and pre-tween. My wife passed away almost 3 years ago. After she passed, her parents moved to our city to help with whatever they could. At first, the help was greatly appreciated, but over time it started to become too much. Mother-in-law especially has been overbearing, in my opinion. My in-laws live about a 5-minute drive away, so they're at our house nearly daily. After multiple conversations, I finally got them to stop just showing up and to at least call or text first. But every day they have something they want to bring over or something they want to do with the kids. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the help, but at some point I need some space too. I told them this and they're starting to respect my boundaries, but it's been a slow and agonizing process. Around the holidays this past year, I was talking with some friends about how lonely I've been. They encouraged me to start dating again if I'm comfortable with that. I figured it wouldn't hurt to test the waters, so I created a couple of dating profiles shortly after the new year. It was weird at first because online dating is something I'd never done before, and it definitely has a learning curve, especially for middle-aged tech doofuses like me. I've chatted with a few women but only gone on dates with 2 of them. The first was only a date and I knew they weren't for me. The second went much better and we went on our 3rd date this past weekend. I didn't tell my in-laws about this to avoid awkwardness because I wanted to see how I felt about the whole thing before bringing them into it. I've used a friend's teenage daughter as a sitter when I go on dates, but this past Sunday my in-laws came over to see the kids and my youngest let it slip that they had a sitter the other night. Of course, that led to a conversation with the in-laws about my dating, which didn't go well. Mother-in-law got very upset and told me that I should have asked for their permission before I started dating again. That made me angry, and I told her that I didn't have to ask their permission for anything, and that her reaction was exactly why I hadn't talked to them about this yet. Father-in-law tried to calm mother-in-law down, but he still pretty much took her side by telling me that I should have at least had a conversation with them about this first. Both my mother-in-law and father-in-law told me that this was too soon and would be hard on the kids. I told them that I haven't introduced any of my dates to the kids yet, and I don't plan to until I feel it's the right time. I told them they're projecting their own feelings onto the kids, and that just because they don't think it's the right time doesn't mean that their feelings get to dictate my life. I understand they're hurt and still grieving. We all are. But the way they acted is exactly why I didn't tell them in the first place. Not the idiot. Their grief is immense, and I think they were kind of using the kids as a shield to not feel it completely. Your dating is just another reminder that she's gone and life is still moving forward. They're probably concerned about how they'll fit into your life should you remarry in the near future. It's an adjustment for all of you, but you don't need permission to move on with your life, and you deserve to be able to take things at your own pace and divulge the information when you are ready. Maybe a discussion about boundaries and reassurance that they will fit into your life moving forward is necessary. You do not need anyone's permission to date again since you're almost 40. Your in-laws don't own you. Many people say this when it comes to widows. Would you really think your spouse would want you to live this way? It's not like you're forgetting her. It's just that you're moving on with your life and you want to love again. You shouldn't have to continue to be alone. If you feel like it's time to date again, then go for it. Good luck out there. I, 21 male, have a sister, nearly adult, who usually gets a ride home from school. One of my parents gives this ride home from school about 99% of the time. They're both older and pretty much retired, so they have free time. I'm in university currently doing my last year of a pretty heavy science degree. I live at home because my uni is fairly close. My sister thinks that I have no responsibilities and infinite free time because I live at home and don't have a job. This isn't the case, but I never saw a point in arguing it, so I didn't contest it when she made her little comments at me. You're lazy, etc. Last week, she wanted a ride home from school from me. At first, she texted me, "Hey, OP, can I please get a ride home from school?" She texted this around 2 hours before school would be let out, so I told her that I wasn't sure because I was at the library, but that I would think about it. Around an hour later, she texted me again. "I really don't see why you can't give me a ride. It's not like you have any real obligations." I responded with basically the same thing, saying, "I'm not sure if I can." Finally, about half an hour before school let out, she said, "OP, it's literally freezing out. Don't be an idiot and drive me home." I caved and left the library to drive her home. On the ride home, I commented that the weather was nice, about 10 degrees Celsius with a bit of drizzle. It's clear she took this as an insult or something because she responded with, "Oh my God, you're so damn lazy. You don't even have a job. Stop complaining and just drive." Something about this comment set me off, so I pulled over and told her to get out. I didn't yell, but when she protested, I said, "Get the heck out before I flip out." She walked home, and when she got home, she was bawling her eyes out. Later that night, my mom got mad at me. However, I responded by saying that it's literally a 5-minute drive and a 15-minute walk. It's not like I made her run a marathon or anything. So, am I the idiot? Edit, just to remove any confusion, the walk home is 15 minutes in a suburban area. I walked home every day when I went to that school, but the family dynamic was different back then. Not the idiot, my sister is like this too. She only talks to me when she wants something and can always be a huge jerk. It's not like you left her in the middle of nowhere at night. She's nearly an adult and can walk 15 minutes through some neighborhoods. School is a lot of work. It's awesome you can live at home and focus on it. My degree is in a science-related field, and those last few semesters can be intense. Keep up the hard work and don't let her or anyone else get to you. Everyone's the idiot here, her more so. She's entitled and disrespectful towards you, but you also jerked her around by saying maybe over and over. She asked with 2 hours to spare. If you'd said no from the beginning, she might have been able to arrange a different way home. Yeah, it's called walking 15 minutes. OP, remind your mother that your sister badgered you to pick her up from school, interrupting your education. Not only that, but she was neglecting her own too since she spent so much time at school on her phone. She's wasting both of your educations and being rude about it. The entitlement is strong with this one. Of course, 10 degrees C is chilly, but it's nothing that a jacket or good hoodie can't handle. My ex-girlfriend and I have a young teen daughter together. We broke up a while ago. We were trying to decide the custody arrangement for our daughter. I suggested our daughter should live with me and my ex could have her 2 weekends a month. I believe this is best for everyone. I get to have my daughter who is very close to me and prefers staying with me, will be happier, and my ex gets to be the fun parent. My ex says she wants more custody and refuses to agree with this. I believe she's only trying to avoid paying child support. We can't agree on anything, so I told her if she refuses to do so, I'll take her to court. She doesn't want to go to court because she can't afford it and thinks I'm an idiot for doing this to her. Her family has been calling me a lot just to insult me, but my family is supporting my decision and thinking I'm right, and doing what's best for my child and me. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You're both her parents, so why is it your way or the highway? It sure sounds like you're trying to use your financial leverage to prevent your ex from being able to parent. Every other weekend is so infrequent, and you haven't mentioned any parenting issues, so I'm not seeing why 50-50 week on week off isn't an option, other than you selfishly wanting your daughter more and knowing you can use financial means to strong-arm your ex. If you think dragging your child's mother into an ugly custody battle is what's best for her, your thinking is entirely delusional. You're missing the fact that OP currently has primary custody. This is de facto the established arrangement, and the party that wants to change it needs to challenge it in court, not argue about it. A good co-parenting relationship is preferred, but ultimately, OP is not obliged to change the custody arrangement on his ex's whims. That's what courts are for. I also don't see any reason to doubt the teen doesn't want to be with her mother. Anyone can speculate why and who's at fault, but a teen is old enough for the child's opinion to be considered regarding custody. Based on those 2 points, I'd say OP's not the idiot. Everyone's the idiot here. There's clearly more to the story. Your daughter is a teen and you live an hour away from her mother. And now, in the middle of her high school semester, you and her mom are duking it out. If you can't come to a reasonable agreement, you should get a mediator. At her age, they'll ask her where she wants to be and sign off on that. If it's true that she wants to be with you, then you shouldn't have any reservations about going down that route. The quicker you get this settled, the quicker everyone can move on and heal.